What's going on, good people in YouTube? It is me, Chavez, and I'm back with another player. Wow, let's redo that again. I am back with another Player Prop Talk live stream. Today is Friday, April 19th, 2024. As always, hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. Hope everybody's doing well on this Friday morning. What is going on, ye? The dancing goat, indeed. I think it's a lamb, but kind of hard to tell. It has no pupils. It's eyeballless. He's getting down though. He's getting down. Oh man, hope everybody's feeling good today. Friday, protected play Friday. I feel like the background music's a little loud. It's definitely not. There you go. I don't know why it seemed a little louder, but I'm definitely not talking over it like I was those few times where I had to be told that the music was way too loud. So yeah, let me know if it is, but I don't think it is. I think the audio is fine today. All right. Yeah, protected play Friday. Let's see what we can cook up today. Talk about some MLB. We finally got a dual sport day yesterday. I guess last day of the NHL regular season. Not a whole lot going on. 5 MLB games. One of them got canceled. A lot of DNPs yesterday. No NBA yesterday. Just a weird day. A lot of my slips got sabotaged. DNP, so didn't really profit too much yesterday. So 3-2 overall on my picks in the Discord. So looking to honestly improve that shit. I hate going 3-2. I love going 4-1, 5-0. See if we can get it going today. Currently waiting on one esports slip to see if we get a sweep. Put those plays in the Discord last night, like really, really early last night, like 7:30. These are all, AM games, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. matches. So waiting on one more to see if we can cash out on the esports. But esports will definitely be making its way more into my slips and my picks. We're starting to get better lines. We're starting to get just more value out there. So we'll start talking about some esports plays in Discord along with whatever sports are popping for that day. But let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why that flushing noise was present for this slide. We don't want to flush this slide. As you know, over 10% of the U.S. population dies in their sleep every single night. You are listening or hearing this. You did not die in your sleep. #blessed. Very morbid start to the stream, but if you're not new here, then you know this is how we intro. If you are new here, stick around. It only goes up from here. It only gets more positive from here, I promise you. But #blessed, indeed. Do something with your day. Do something nice for yourself. Then do something nice for somebody else. That's how it rolls. All right. Let's get this going. I think what happened was I had a spacer in my slides and I deleted it. And the sound effect for the toilet flushing. Oh, shoot. Hold on, guys. I know what's going on. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. So this whole time they've been talking with no audio. My mic was not plugged in. Probably were able to hear me because the microphone in the laptop, but that's not the best mic. So I got the mic plugged in now. Hopefully that's way better audio. Sorry about that. All right. Let's I wish we could just like rewind time, but we can't. We can't. #blessed out the way. We're talking about turds right now. Turds of the day. What's going on, E? What's going on, NPC Brandon? What's up, Jesus? JR, what is good? Turds of the day. Don't really have a whole lot of turds from yesterday, unless you want to count the Cubs game being canceled. A lot of DNPs in that game. So I had a slip that was a 6-pick flex, and it got regressed to a 3-pick flex, which 3-pick flexes are terrible payouts on PrizePicks. I don't understand why you would play a 3-pick flex. Teach your own if you are playing those, but the payout on those are very, very small. And I would never on my own play a 3-pick flex, but that's what my slip ended up being. And I got 2 out of 3 right. So the payout is even worse when you get 2 out of 3 right. So it was frustrating yesterday. So I guess the Cubs game in general was a turd for me. What about from Wednesday? Any turds from Wednesday? Yeah, we didn't do a live stream on Thursday, so Wednesday play-in game, Bulls Miami, Bulls and Hawks. That was a fun game to watch. That was a fun game to watch if you had any Kobe White props in your slips. Kobe White went off. That 19.5 point prop looked so wrong by halftime. He was just already at the mark at halftime. DeRozan finally had an under. You know, you even seen him kind of go off and cook the last few games. Had a good game. Had a good first half. Kind of cooled off in the second half. Double-double for Vooch. If you play Vooch's double-double prop, double-double for Capella. Nice game for him. Awful game for Trae Young. I didn't realize that hand was bothering him that much. I figured since he was playing in the playoffs, I figured that he was ready to roll. But that was an obvious bother to him. Just didn't have his shot, didn't look like himself. So that was a terrible showing for him. Wonder if we see him back in the Hawks uniform next season. But what say you? Turds of the day from Thursday, turds of the day from Wednesday. Any turds in the chat? Throw them in the chat. Let me know who chalked your slip. What coaching staff, what organization, what maybe not even that. Who pissed you off at work? Who pissed you off on the freeway? Who pissed you off at the drive-in, the drive-through? Are you still going to drive-ins? They still have drive-ins? Damn, if they have a drive-in in your town, that's pretty dope. Who pissed you off in the drive-through line? Who's your turd from the past 2 days? Throw it in the chat. If you don't have any turds, that's awesome. That means your slips were profitable. That means your day was good. If you don't have any turds to talk about. All right. No turds. All right. We move on. Injury news in the NBA. Super short injury report today. Like I mentioned in a previous stream, these injury reports are going to be super short. For the most part, if you can play it, you're playing. If you can't play it, it means you're seriously hurt. So we got Duncan Robinson, who's probable. We got Caruso, who is questionable after Andre Drummond ran his ass over at half court. Even in the game, he didn't look good. Smart move taking the under on Caruso's second half props because he actually did start the third quarter and then he got pulled out for Javonte Green, I think. And that was it. He didn't come back in. So if you took an under on Caruso's second half prop, that was smart. You just read the room and you played a smart pick. Desumu's questionable. I fully expect him to play. And Drummond's questionable. Drummond and Desumu were questionable coming into Wednesday's game, and they both play. Being that this is a pretty important game for them, I would assume that they have all hands on deck. If you can play, you're playing. We do know Zion is out. Jimmy is out for several weeks. I cropped the picture on purpose to show you that related news. Jimmy Butler out for multiple weeks, meaning that if the Heat do move on in the play-in to the playoffs, they'd really have to make a huge run to maybe the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe the NBA Finals for Jimmy Butler for us to see him back on the court. Otherwise, he's probably done for the rest of the year. Multiple weeks. That's a pretty significant amount of time. Terry Rozier is still out, so you have two pretty big pieces to that offense that are out. Expect bigger minutes for Hero, Caleb Martin, Bam. and also Duncan Robinson. So injury news is pretty minimal today, but you got some big ass names on this list with Zion and Jimmy Butler on that list. All right. Let's move on. Injury news done. Turds done. All right. Couple offers. I've been talking about these the last couple of days. Couple offers. Listen, this is a really good deal from Props.Cash. I'll sweeten it up a little bit as well. They are limiting the amount of people who can sign up for this offer, so they're limiting it to 20 people. I guess they don't want to lose a ton of money on this. I already have a handful of people who have signed up for this, but if you sign up for this annual plan that is being dropped down from $199 to $149, on top of the savings, 2 complimentary weeks into the premium Discord. So 2 free weeks in the Discord when you sign up for that full year. If you're currently on the month plan, then you can just cancel that and sign up for this and save money. Save a few dollars, but over the course of the year, you're saving upwards of $90. So all you got to do is DM me in the premium or DM me in the Discord. And this is exclusive to Discord members only. So this is not on Twitter. This is not on Instagram. This is not on even on the Props.Cash website. Exclusive to the Discord only. Second offer, if you're not willing or ready to jump into a month, or if you're not ready to jump into a year with the Discord, try it out for 10 days. $9.99 10-day pass. Just shoot me a DM in the Discord. Let me know you want to sign up. It's $1 a day. It's pretty much what it averages out to. And then after 10 days, you can make a decision. No hard feelings if you don't continue. But this is a great alternative if you aren't wanting to jump into a month. If you are a commitment phobe, commitment stuff for a lot of people. But hit me up in the Discord. Let me know, and we'll get you set up today. And with that, we transition into today's plays. Today is April 19th, 2024. We're talking NBA, we're talking MLB, whatever player props you want to throw in the chat. Let me know. It doesn't have to be PrizePicks. It could be any pick'em site you want. But we will pull up the PrizePicks dashboard here only because it offers the cleanest presentation. It's easy to navigate, and it's just easier to view everything. As much as I like Underdog, it is a little choppy sometimes. As a lot of these pick'em sites, the navigation, the format is a little choppy, especially when you're going live stream. But PrizePicks seems to have the best to offer in terms of all those things. So that's what we're using for today. All right. Let's get this going. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to transition over to PrizePicks board. Let's pull up the board and let's see what's cooking. Let's see what's on the board today. We got MLB, we got NBA, then we have PGA as well. Nice birdie prop yesterday put in the Discord. Tony Finu. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these names, but PrizePicks is not popping. Let's refresh. Oh wow, is it just not I'm just not able to share this? What's going on? Did my stream go out? There we go. Man, we're having a lot of problems this morning. No mic plugged in. No screen share working. Like, what is going on today? Bear with me. I don't know what is happening. All right, PrizePicks board pulled up. As I mentioned earlier, we'll talk about any prop you want to talk about, regardless of the pick'em site. But we do have the PrizePicks board pulled up because it just looks better. It's cleaner. It's easier to read. So this is the player prop portion of the stream. So whatever questions you guys have, put them in the chat, or I will be forced to talk about my own plays for the entire stream. Don't forget about the Jokic prop we have on the board. That's good until Monday. All right. No, I have a feeling something's going on with the stream. There's very little chatter in the chat. I wonder if I'm being seen or listened to right now. I'm just going to refresh this whole screen. All right. I just refreshed the screen. I'm not sure what's going on here, but if y'all can hear me, y'all see me, let me know in the chat. I feel like there's some difficulties going on here. And I am just not able to share screen today. I have no idea what's going on. I'm paying a lot of money for this software, and it is failing me right now. All right. What's up, Carrie? All right, cool. Good to know. All right. Let's get this going. We got a CS2. We got two CS2 players, right? Or no, is this just one? DMQQ under map 1-2 kills. I have been playing a little bit more CS2, or honestly just whatever's available, whatever odds look good, you know, wherever I can find the biggest discrepancy. I'm playing a little bit more esports. I'm noticing that the lines are just stronger, whereas I guess a few months ago, it was really hard to find multiple pick'em sites that offered. You just have a couple of pick'em sites, and the lines are just completely different. You don't know which one is closer to the true line. Now I'm starting to see Ryan says the mic sounds muddy. Does it really? Shit. Let's do this. All right. Hopefully that's better. All I did was unplug it and plug it back in. That's the extent of my troubleshooting with the microphone. Did you hit restart? Let's see if that helps. Yeah. This whole stream from the start has been a struggle. I didn't look at MQQ. I played a few other plays. I put them in the Discord. I shared a few slips. I don't believe this prop was on those slips though. We got Jesus asking about Larry Nance over 16.5 PRA. Man, I don't know what to do with that front court in New Orleans. Although Zion being out definitely does help. You would think helps Jonas and Nance just get more playing time and more opportunity to score. Yeah, Jonas went from like basically doing nothing on Sunday to having himself a pretty good first half, at least in that first game against the Lakers. And then all of a sudden he's back on top of the world. Look at that PRA, 23.5. It was at 12.5 last game. So the books are definitely expecting him to do a little bit more today without Zion. But that's just crazy. That's literally double what his line was just 2 days ago. Highsmith over PRA. We could take a look at his points and rebounds. His PRA is not available on PrizePicks. Probably available on Underdog, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, 12.5 PRA on Underdog. But we could take a look at his PR for now, and then when we go to props.cash, we'll look up the PRA and just see how that one's shaping up. One that I really did like earlier this morning, I put it on the cheat sheets, but unfortunately it has been bumped down, was De'Aaron Fox under 6.5 assists. I think 6 is, I don't think it's playable, honestly, because he has honestly just been landing at 6 for so many games. And I just feel like 6, you're just asking for the push. So I will stay away from the 6 unless you can find it at 6.5 somewhere else. Maybe it's still on HOTSTREAK at 6.5 or Sleeper, but on PrizePicks it's already been bumped down. What's going on, T? Keegan Murray over 3s made. Keegan Murray had himself a game. Keegan Murray had himself a huge first half, and I mean a good second half too, but that first half was insane. He couldn't miss. All right, let's look at these 3 plays. Let's check out Nance. Let's check out Highsmith, and then Keegan Murray as well. Let's head over to props.cash. Let's pull up the researching tools, and let's dig into these few plays that we have on the board right now. Typically having 2 NBA games, you're just like, it's a slow night, but because these are playoff games, or these are play-in games, but honestly, the atmosphere is playoff atmosphere. It's hard to look at these games and not think playoffs, but because these are those types of games, you don't mind that it's only 2. I think you like the fact that, you know, we kind of know what to expect from these teams in terms of usage. Like you can, that concentrated usage is coming from those 3-4 guys on the team. But with Butler out in Miami, it is kind of murky. After you get past Bam and Hero, you have guys like Martin, Highsmith, DeLon Wright, Jaquez. You have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. So not really sure how the minutes are going to be for these guys, but you definitely know without Butler, they're going to have to piece it together today. Against a really hot Bulls team. Bulls, they're feeling themselves a little bit. This game is in Miami, though, so that Miami crowd is fun, and they're into it. and they're not going to make it easy on Chicago. So Haywood Highsmith over his PRA sitting at 12.5, and that is minus 133 to go under. Now, one thing that we can do is factor out Jimmy Butler and look at the sample size. But real quick, let's look at the two books that do have this available at minus 133 on Caesars, and then split at plus 100, but at 11.5. So this one has been, well, this one is at a lower line on BetMGM. When we look at his projection for today, his projection is 17.35 PRA. That's what he basically did against Philly last game out. So let's take out Jimmy Butler and let's just see what that looks like, and see if we can find a sample size for this. So sample size without Butler. Now, all these games are this season. 6 games he's played. Well, excuse me. 10 games he's played without Butler, but 6 of those games he's gone over, like, by a great deal. He's not barely getting over. He's crushing it. So I don't know what to expect from him. This is like the playoffs. So is he going to be on the court for 30 plus? That one game against Chicago back in 2022, I don't even know what to think about that game. He played 42 minutes without Butler. Let's just look at the last 10 regular season games and see where his minutes were in or around 30 minutes. The average is right at 29, but you can see in 3, 4, 5 of those games, he gave you 30 plus. His PR is what is listed on PrizePicks at minus 122 to the over. You're getting way more books that are giving you lines on this one. Pretty much aside from PointsBet, everything is trending to the over. Not by a great deal, but it's still over. And then 10.5, again, without Butler. In those games, he's going over PRA. He's going over PR. So you can't find his PRA on PrizePicks, but you can definitely pivot to his PR. He's getting 30 plus minutes in 10 games this season without Butler. In that game against the 76ers, he played 28 minutes, and that was with Butler, though Butler was pretty limited after. I won't say pretty limited. He definitely was 100% after that fall. But that was with Butler taking up time. So without Butler at all, I mean, you can expect more of the same, 28 plus minutes today. I think he's in play, both PRA and PR. All right, we're going to take a look at Larry Nance. Unless, did I miss one from the same game? No. So we got Larry Nance, and then we have Keegan Murray. We'll take a look at that. Is Alvarado playing today? I don't think he was on the injury report. He was pretty banged up in that game. At least he looked like he was in pain pretty much the whole game. He's not on the injury report, so I'm assuming he's playing. So we're looking at the PRA for Larry Nance sitting at 16.5. He's gone over this line in 5 out of last 10 games. Now, games played without Zion. What does that look like for him? Not great. I don't know why that is so bad. Oh, for 1 for 5 and then 1 for 10. That is a complete opposite. I did not expect that to be for that to drop off like that. In games played without Zion this season, this is what he's done. What are they doing to the lineup? He is projected for 20.5 PRA today. And then in terms of the books, you do have only one book that likes the over, and that's BetMGM. PointsBet, Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel all favor the under on this one. So I'm not sure what's going on with Larry Nance without Zion, but he definitely is dropping off In those 3 games played against Sacramento this year, his minutes have just declined. Over the last 10 regular games, doesn't need to be against Sacramento. He's averaging 17 minutes in those 10 games played without Zion versus games played with Zion, 25 minutes. I mean, I think they're just going big. I think they're just going with a bigger lineup, and he's just him and Valanciunas are almost like switching roles in terms of minutes played. Does Valanciunas go off without Zion? Yeah. Well, at least in these games he is. In these games, he's giving you 28 minutes. He's averaging 31 PRA, and he's 3 for 3 in games played against the Kings without Zion. He's 4 for 4 in games played against the Kings with Zion. And then over his last 10 games, huge drop off in his last 10 games, and his minutes are down. So yeah, I think that's what the deal is. When Zion is out, Jonas is getting more minutes. They're just going with a bigger lineup versus Sabonis in those games versus the Kings. Even when they don't play the Kings, he's just getting more minutes. And then when Zion is in, his minutes are way down and his production is way down. So interesting. I would not have guessed that. You know, I'm glad we dug into this one to check it out. Let's look at Keegan Murray. So we're gonna look at Keegan Murray's threes today. All right. Minus 132 to the under on his threes. He had 8 threes, man. That's crazy. And he had 5 in the first half? 4. Jeez, man. A little bit of a tougher matchup against the Pelicans on the road as well. This season versus the Pelicans, he has, let's see. So it's going to be these 4 games. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 games played versus the Pelicans this season, he is 2 for 2. 2 for 4. 2 and 2, I should say. When he goes over, he goes way over. When he's off, he's missing. He's projected for 4 3-pointers made today, although his odds are not in favor of the over on FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and PointsBet. So if you feel like this continues, this streak or this trend, then just based off this alone, down, up, down, up, down, up, he's based off just that, he's due for a down game. I don't believe that's the best strategy to figure out overs and unders, but if that's what you roll with and that's what you pay attention to, then he goes under today. Just based off the game logs, you know he's capable of 5 or more. Just got to make a decision on, are you a believer in the projections or are you a believer in the odds? One thing we can look at is over the course of the year, when he does go off, when he does have a huge game from 3, what does that next game look like? It is kind of hard to see because the print's so small, but I mean, we just pay attention to the green line and then the game following. So he goes for 4, he goes for 3, he goes for 5, he goes for 2, he goes for 5, he goes for 1, goes for 5, goes for 0, back-to-back games, goes for 12. But you see what I'm saying here? Typically, he follows up a big performance with a very low performance. So if you believe there's any truth to that, then you are paying attention to it. If you just want to ride the wave and the projections, then they are in favor of the over. Ryan Davis says take Rozier out too for Highsmith. Yeah, let's take Rozier out. Actually, I don't think the sample size will be that great because Rozier only played what, half a season for Miami. But let's see what it looks like. Let's check it out. All right, so let's take Butler and Rozier out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Yeah, I mean, it's still good. I mean, it's better with just Butler out because the sample size is larger. Rozier didn't play as many games in the second half with Miami because of the trade. So it's not going to be as great of a sample size, but it does show you that Highsmith does benefit when both of those guys are out. And 12.5 is such a low number. Yeah, 12.5 or 10.5. I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those two. If you just want to go with the lower line of 10.5 PR, if you feel like that one offers more upside because it's a lower number. In those games without Butler, Highsmith is averaging 4 rebounds and 1 assist. So yeah, the majority of that PRA will be points and rebounds. So yeah, PR or PRA, whichever you prefer. I think both of them are in a good spot for that over. Let's see what we got here. Knuckles, Valanciunas kill Sabonis. Yeah. Man, that game log without Zion and with Zion for both Nance and Valanciunas was like polar opposite. You're talking Murray? T? No, Kings are on the road today. They're in New Orleans today. Yeah, the Pelicans were the higher seed. Not by a lot, but gotcha. All right. Yeah, man. Just based off what we saw, I mean, I'm not throwing any hate on Larry Nance, but just I'm definitely not gonna try to be cute about the shit. Like what I saw in Larry Nance's game logs without Zion looked real bad, and the exact opposite for Joval. So I would be willing to go under on Nance and go over on Joval today. Or Willie Green could just throw us a curveball and play Nance 40 minutes. I mean, you just never know with that guy. All right. Yeah, again, only 2 games today, so we're gonna rinse and repeat on a lot of these players. So like you like the over on somebody's PRA because there's only 2 games, you start looking at the over on their PR, their over on their PA, the over on their points, the over on their first half. I mean, this is what you're gonna have to do today because the value is not gonna be as great with just 2 games. And chances are a lot of these lines will start to move because everybody's picking the same shit. And so these pick'em sites are going to be forced to move these lines at some point. So you'll have to pivot and pick another play. So have 3 or 4 of them in mind when you're looking at a player. That way, if you do have to move to another prop, you're prepared for that. Let's take a look at What's going on, Divine? Ingram over points and Sabonis over points, and then we got McCollum under. Now, we talked about McCollum on Wednesday because his points were brought up in the chat. And then we took a look at his game logs when everybody was healthy, and he had just a complete drop compared to the role he was on. He does benefit more when Brandon Ingram is out. When Zion is out, I don't think he benefits as much. But we'll take a look at Ingram. We'll take a look at McCollum today as well. So these stars are this is bait, you know. I already have 6 up there. Let's take out the, so I'm going to take out the CS2 play, but under 32 first 2 map kills for DemQQ. We'll take him out to make room. And let's go ahead and just screenshot these 3 players. And we'll take Nance out. We'll take Highsmith out. We'll take Murray out. We got Ingram. We already looked at Valanciunas, but we'll leave him up there for this round. We'll go under on McCollum, and then we'll take a look at some bonuses points at 18. All right. Let's see. To LA, what's up? Good morning. Says Ingram is bad. Go with CJ. That was one bad game. Yeah, he had a bad game. He knew it too. You can see it on his face. He was pissed. All right, we're gonna look at the under for CJ. Well, we'll look at these player props, and based off the information we find, we'll just make a case for it. I'm not in love with the over or under, and so I do the research. I don't make my mind up until the research is done. So let's did I miss one? All right. So we got Ingram. The good thing about only 2 games in here is the fact that we can just most of these players are coming from the same game, so we just stick in the same game. We don't have to bounce around. Trey, what's up? Trey Gaines Fitness says McCollum sold me. I'm not taking him again. This game will be a blowout. You think so? Blowout in favor of the Pelicans, you think? Let's figure it out. We got Sabonis, McCollum, and Ingram all in the same game. This should be a pretty quick run through. All right. Appreciate y'all being here Friday morning. That like button on your way in means a ton. All right, let's start with this McCollum. Okay, let's get McCollum out the way because I think he was the one that sold the most last game. I think after what we saw him, after how we saw him finish the regular season, the expectations were mighty high for him coming into that play-in game, especially after how he cooked up the Lakers on Sunday. And then he dropped a 9-point performance on us. So let's figure this shit out. All right. So we know what this looks like. A lot of this was due to Ingram being out. So we know that when Ingram's out, it's McCollum that benefits the most, not Zion. So McCollum was really cooking without Ingram in the lineup. Right? So let's take out Zion this game and let's see what his game logs look like for the season. And they're just not as good. Doesn't mean he can't have a good game. And in fact, in a couple of these games, he hooked it and he's right there. But a lot of these games, he's not even getting you 20 points. So you'd have to go into each game and figure out like why he didn't get it. Was he missing shots? Was the defense that good? was he hurt or whatever? You know, were his minutes down? Were these blowouts? You really got to dig into these yourself. But just overall, we can see the difference between Zion being out and Ingram being out. So I think that's something to pay attention to. Number one. Looking at his projections, he is projected for about 23 points. So he's right at the hook. If this holds true, he's right at the hook. The odds are going to tell you more than any projection will. The odds are favoring the under on PointsBet. And that's about it. BetMGM is BetMGM is split. Caesars likes the over. DraftKings likes the over. FanDuel barely likes the over. So if you just want to pay attention to Caesars and DraftKings, both of these books like the over by more than -10, you know? So the other ones are either undecided or favoring the under. So what I'm reading, when I read the odds and I see that, I'm getting the idea that these books believe there's a bounce back game coming for CJ McCollum. And I'm reading the fact that Zion being out benefits CJ more than it has in the regular season. So it is a little murky when we got injuries. You want to believe that the other guys just automatically step into a larger role and then they automatically produce. But the regular season showed otherwise when Zion was out. So you might have a point of view saying like, hey, he sold me last game. I'm not going to play him this game. That's, or if this game does get out of hand, is he limited? And if he is limited, then is he, falling under this line before he gets sat for the rest of the game? So, at home, that's another split you can look at if you want to do a home split and see what he looks like. At home without Zion, is that a thing? Is that a sample size? It is a sample size. It's not a big sample size because only 3 of these games are from this season. So in 2 out of those 3 games played at home without Zion, he's gotten you 30 points. So if you're looking for a silver lining, I just gave you one. In 3 games played at home this year without Zion, CJ McCollum has gone for 30 plus in 2 out of those 3 games. So if you're looking for a reason to play the over, if you didn't have enough reason to play the over, maybe that one pushed you over the fence. Otherwise, you're playing the under or you haven't made up your mind. Ingram without Zion. Everything's without Zion today. Now, Brandon Ingram, the one thing that worries me about Brandon Ingram today is his minutes. Coming back from injury, there's no reason that he should have played just 25 minutes. Especially, I think, after Willie Green said he was going to be in for 28. The game was not blown out. It was not out of hand. Unless he's not 100%. Which is likely. Sometimes the team feels that a player at 80% is better than nothing, and they'll roll him out there. But the fact that he only played 25 minutes, even after Zion got hurt, he still was on the bench. So factor that in, and it's kind of hard to just automatically like check a box and say, yeah, Brandon Ingram is going to go off tonight. Unless they're saving him for the playoffs, which to me is a dumb strategy because there are no playoffs until you get past the play-in. So I would assume that if he was 100% healthy, we'd see 30 plus minutes from him. All right, so games at home with Brandon Ingram, 4 out of 10 games. gone over that point line of 19. It's 19 and a half. It's 19 and a half right now. So let's take Zion out. So in games played at home without Zion, this looks real good, right? So look, Zion out, McCollum is not really benefiting. Ingram is the one benefiting. When Brandon Ingram's out, McCollum's benefiting. Zion's not benefiting. It's super confusing. But all we know is that when Zion's out, Brandon Ingram eats. In those games where Zion has been out, Brandon Ingram is playing 37 minutes. I don't think he goes over his PRA, his fantasy, if he's only going to give you 25 minutes today. Maybe follow the Pelicans beat writer. Try to see what they're saying about Brandon Ingram today. It just doesn't make sense why he didn't play his full minutes. The game was close, and he still was on the bench. So factor that shit in. I don't know what to do with that one. He is projected for just 18 points today. When you look at the odds at 19.5 points bet, BetMGM, Caesars, and DraftKings all like the over by a good amount. There is no barely over. There is no like coin flip on these. It's pretty decisive, these odds. So not as clear. To me, this is not as clear cut as I want it to be. So if you think he gives you his 30 plus minutes tonight, the over looks real good. If you feel there's a chance that he's limited, there's just no way in hell he goes over his props playing 24 minutes. I'll take a stand on that one. When he's not at home and Zion's out, pretty good, but there are some games in there where he's not even giving you 18 points. So home cooking is for real with the Pelicans. These guys play much better at home. And Ingram specifically benefits from Zion not being in. Sabonis over points at 18.5. Yikes. So these are the last 10 games for Sabonis, okay? Sometimes it gets lost that he doesn't need to score 20, 25 points to have a good game because he does so much and his triple doubles are so strong. Again, a 14, 12, and 10 game, that's a triple double, but in a lot of these games, he's not getting you 20 because it's not necessary. You don't need 20 points to get a triple double. So in 3 games, 3 out of these 8 games versus New Orleans, he has gone over now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these games are this season. He hooked it, went under in 2, and then went well over in these 2 games. I wonder how many of those games were without Zion. 4 games were played without Zion, but only 1 this season, and he gave you 17 points. So even with Zion not in the lineup, doesn't seem to like make a big difference. He's not going over in a lot of these games versus the Pelicans. Now he is projected for 20.5 points today. FanDuel likes the over. DraftKings likes the over. Caesars does not, but by a small margin, they're favoring the under. BetMGM and PointsBet all favor the over. So BetMGM, PointsBet, FanDuel like the over, while Caesars is slightly on the under. DraftKings barely likes the over. And we already looked at Jovel, so we already know what his numbers look like without Zion. They're fantastic. Versus the Kings, with or without Zion, they're fantastic. So, but his numbers against the Lakers were also very good, and we saw him play 7 minutes on Sunday. So again, don't know what to do with this rotation because we can't get inside Willie Green's head. But if you think you have an idea and you think that Jovel gets minutes in place of Zion not being there, then that looks like a good line. Ingram needs to play full run. I'm saying it again. If Ingram doesn't play full run, or if he's injured and he's not 100%, I think it's going to be difficult for him to go over his PRA and his points. If that's the case, do you think McCollum fills in and has to like pick up that slack? Do we see a more usage for McCollum if Ingram's not playing full minutes? There's yet another storyline. And then Sabonis over his points. Enough books like the over on this one. Now his history versus New Orleans is not good. But the odds like this one and the projections also like the over on Sabonis' points. Damn, with just 2 games, you know, these odds are not like, to me at least, they're not clear cut. There's a lot of research having to be done. Let's see. Good morning. Yeah, what's up, Trey? What's up, man? I can see that if the game stays close. 12 points is a lock. I always take it. Let's see, can you take a look at a few? Yeah, first half props. What do you got? What do you got, Trey, for first half? Herb Jones, PR for Ryan. All right, let's take a screenshot of these. If you're wondering why I take screenshots of these, I put about 40% of these in the freemium, and then I share the rest of them in the premium. If you're on the live stream, then you've already seen these, but what I do this for is for reference. So if you want to go back into the Discord and use the props that we already researched as a point of reference, then that's what that's there for. And these have already been researched on live, so you don't have to go back in there and research unless you want to. So if you're in a pinch, you don't have time to research, or you don't have any researching tools yet, then you can look at those as a way to help out with your slips. That's why I screenshot these. All right, let's look at Herbert Jones over PR. What's his fantasy today? 25? Oof. That might be in play. I have not done any research on his fantasy, but when we look up his PR, we'll take a look at his fantasy too. Speaking of fantasy points, I don't know if you are in the Discord or not, but every day, well, almost every day, I do a player write-up for everybody to see. And my last player write-up was ITSMECHAVEZ over his 26.5 fantasy points. Crushed that shit. Day before, I forgot who it was the day before. But I was on a roll. We were overall, I believe we're 12-2 right now with our player write-ups. The benefit to the player write-up is you take that player write-up and you can team it up, pair it up with another play that you like, and run a 2-man, especially on Taco Tuesdays or whatever promo PrizePicks has going on. And with a 12-2 hit rate, more than likely you're going to cash it. So glad that we got back on a winning track. We went 2 straight days of 2 losses. They were brutal, but we're back. So ITSMECHAVEZ cashed for us. I have not done a player write-up for today, but be on the lookout for that because those are hitting. What's going on? K Bills 730. Domantas Sabonis less than 14 rebounds. So we like the over on his points. Well, at least the information for his points, the data tends to lean towards the over for his points. But let's take a look at his rebounds today. Under 14. We'll definitely take a look at that. So Trey asked about first half player props. For sure, if you have a first half player prop that you want me to check out, throw it in a chat. But let's take a look at some first half player props. I personally like going with PRA and fantasy score for the high usage players. So right off the bat, I mean, if we think that this continues when Zion's out, if Joe Val eats, he plays more minutes, he plays bigger, then his first half PRA is in play. Fantasy score. Now, Keon Ellis is going to be the fantasy darling today because of what he did last game. I mean, he had like 6 blocks and steals. So it's hard to duplicate that on a nightly basis. He had 6 blocks and steals, 3 steals, 3 blocks. He only had 3 turnovers. Just on blocks and steals alone, that's 18 fantasy points. He had 15 points. That's 33. 7.5 points from assist. He had over 40 fantasy points. He played 39 minutes. If he gets you 2 blocks and steals in the first half of this game, that's half of his fantasy score. I'm not saying you have to play this or that you should play it. I'm just trying to figure out if it is playable because it's dependent on his blocks and steals. Now, New Orleans is a much different team. I think it'll be a much different game. But if the guy plays 20 first half minutes, it's hard to not go over this unless you're just turning the ball over a lot. Keon Ellis could be in play if you wanted to roll that way. Or you can look at his PRA. Trey just put his PRA in there at 8.5. And with the PRA, you don't even have to worry about blocks and steals or turnovers. T says the special tab has Kobe White and Acuna over and Fox and Shohei over. I love that your autocorrect corrected Acuna to Acura. I love how the autocorrect thinks it knows what we're trying to say. Did you mean Ronald Acura Jr.? No, we did not, man. All right, so Ronald Acura Jr. and Kobe White, 4.5 total bases plus 3-pointers made. That is interesting. That one looks good. And then what was the other one? Fox and Shohei over. Okay. The funny thing about this is it's not funny at all. I don't know why I said the funny thing. The interesting thing about this is that you have 2 players in Kobe White and De'Aaron Fox who, when they get hot, can hit 5 3-pointers. This one can possibly be met on 3-pointers alone. Tyler Hero without Jimmy Butler in the lineup. I wonder how many threes he's attempting without Jimmy Butler in the lineup. That might be something worth checking out. When we come back, I'll throw these 3 in the these 3 in on the board, and then we'll break them down. All right, let's go back. Let's take a look at Sabonis' rebounds because we looked at his points and we like them, but his rebounds at 14, not 14.5. We don't have a current line for that, but at 13.5, these were on the over. So that's saying that these books do expect him to get 14, but at 14.5, and now he needs 15. These books don't see him getting you 15. Well, that book doesn't see him getting you 15. So it feels like he's landing right at 14. Now, his numbers against New Orleans have not been good. In fact, he is 0 for 8 in getting 15 rebounds. Over his last 10 games, he's gotten you 15 or more in 3 of those games. And in those games, he hasn't gotten you 14 in those games either. So just 3 games, just a 30% hit rate, whether you're going with 14 or 14.5. So it feels like 15 has been the number that's given him the issue here. He is projected for 13 rebounds. So he's projected for a double-double. If you want to play his double-double line, if you can find his double-double line, at 20 and 13, that's a double-double. I'm sure that his PR is in play as well, because 33.5 PR. I don't know if it's that on FanDuel or on PrizePicks, but he is projected for 33.5. So he's projected for his. So he does need at least one more point to get the over on this one. His PR could be in play. The matchup with New Orleans is giving him problems, though. That's definitely something to pay attention to. And the sample size is pretty goddamn big. You know, we're talking about 8 games here over the span of 2 seasons. So this isn't just like he had a bad year against them. He's having a bad career against them from what we can see here. So yeah, taking the under on his 14, I would definitely look to see if you can find it at 14.5. You may need to go to an alternate site like HOTSTREAK or Sleeper or Dabble or Chalkboard. But if you can find it at 14.5, that's the best line to take the under on. Let's look at JOVAL's first half PRA. So we're going to take a look at his first half PRA versus Sacramento. He is a perfect 7 for 7. Now, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 games are this season. Perfect. This is not even factoring in injuries. So without Zion, he's 3 for 3. And his numbers go up. You notice that in these 3 games without Zion, now these 2 games are last season, but let's just factor him in because I want to look at the 17.3 average he has with Zion out versus the 7 games with Zion in. It's 17. So it's not much of a difference. He just has very good games against this team, and his minutes in the first half, he's averaging about 15 minutes. It's crazy that he did that shit in 10 minutes against them on the 12th or the 22nd. 13 PRA in 10 minutes. So even if he were just to play 10, 11 minutes in the first half, he's showing you that he can be a PRA per minute producer. Keon Ellis first half PRA sitting at 8.5. Now, against New Orleans, there is just 1 game to look at, so there's no sample size here. Let's just pay attention to his last 10 games. He's hooked it in 2 games. He's gone under in, well under in 3. But in 5 of those games, he's gotten you 9+ PRA. Now, I know that Malik Monk is out, so let's see how many games were played without Monk. All these games were played without Monk. So there's no difference here. So it's still 50% hit rate. It is a very low line. It is a very low line. He is projected for 20 PRA. And his PRA odds on DraftKings are over -125, Caesars -127. You see all this, right? BetMGM -125, split on PointsBet, and split on FanDuel. So listen, if his PRA is projected for 20 and the odds are in favor of the over, even if he doesn't get you 20 PRA for the game, let's say he gets you 17. Half of 17 is 8.5. Let's say he gets you 19. That's 9. The odds are looking pretty good for his full game PRA. You would like to believe that it's a consistent performance, half over half. And if you believe that's the case today, then 8.5 is a little low. So you can also look to his first half PRA. Herb Jones, 15 points and rebounds. We haven't looked at what Herb Jones is doing without Zion. So let's look at what he's done just PR over his last 10 games. That's first half. Full game. 4 out of his last 10 games, he's gone over 15.5 PR. Now, his projection is
16.91, so that's 17. Let's see what it looks like without Zion in the games. And you can see that there is a huge improvement to his whole game logs here. So 6 out of 10 games he's gone over this line. When Zion is out, he's averaging 16 PRA in those games. At home, this is going back to last season. So what you're really looking at is from this game against Detroit to here. So 4 straight games at home without Zion, he's gone over with 17 or more. It's pretty impressive. Going back to his games without Zion, whether they're home or away, 16 PR in those games. Now, with Zion in, he's averaging 13.5. So it's a 2.5 points and rebounds difference when Zion's out. Even better when he's at home. Yeah, that's in play. In terms of his odds on his PR for the game, you got FanDuel liking the over. You have PointsBet split. You have BetMGM, Caesars, and DraftKings liking the under on this one. So just one book liking the over on this one. They're not as high on Herb Jones as they are on other plays that we've seen. But if you like what you see when Zion's out for Herb Jones, like those are facts. That's not a projection. Those are facts. That's what he's done. That's written already. It's been done. So those game logs look really good. All right, so bonus over points, but under rebounds, which that is possible. Herb Jones over, Jonas over first half PRA, and Keon Ellis over his first half PRA. So all those look real good. All right. Ingram first quarter points. What's going on? Biggest opposition. Trey says he's kind of streaky, but he shoots threes and his defense can turn into easy offense on the other. You're talking about Keon Ellis? Yeah. He was getting real handsy against the Lakers, man. He was everywhere. That's just fun to watch. I think one of my favorite plays in the NBA is just like fast break dunks, like off a steal. That shit's so fun. He's fast too, man. Like he separates. He and Ellis and Dosunmu, when they go and they're driving, that shit is like watching a track star. I mean, it's fun to watch really fast players with the ball in their hands. De'Aaron Fox too. I mean, those are some of the better plays to see in the NBA. This shit's fun. All right, let's look at some of these specials. Now, we don't typically look at a lot of these, just honestly because they're not always available to us, or sometimes they're just shit. But you can make a case for all 4 of these, okay? And I'm not saying CJ McCollum goes out and shoots 6 or makes 6 threes, but all 4 of these dudes are hot, like volume shooters. Like when they start hitting them, they're making them. And so it's not like out of like the possibility to see these guys get hot from 3 and hit 5, 6 threes, or let's say for Kobe White, if Kobe White goes out there and hits 4 threes, Acuna needs to get you 1 base. Like these guys probably will lead their little prop here. Although if Jordan hits a home run or some shit like that, then that only helps. But I think a good way to look at these, because the usage in the NBA is it's easier to project and concentrate on that usage. Like who's going to shoot. If you can project one of these promos to hit on threes, then whatever's left, and you can just, whatever's left will be in total basis. So, it'd be different if there was a player prop for like OG Anunoby and Acuna, over their total base threes, right? But with these four dudes, they're going to shoot. So I don't know if y'all have a favorite one out of all four of these. I think, focusing on these two because they are the lower line, and just taking a look at Acuna and Kobe White to start off, because after coming off that 40-point game against the Hawks, I mean, Kobe White is definitely feeling pretty good about himself now. It is just a little superstitious in me when I see a guy like go off like that. I always want to look at what they do the next game and see if there is a drop off when they have huge outputs like that. So let's just see if we can narrow this down. So yeah, when Kobe White goes for 30 or more, the next game does seem to be a bit of a drop off here, except for this. That's nice. These are not 30. These are just high marks for him, though. It's not the best way to look at props, but like I said, it's just the superstitious side of me. So we're looking at his threes today. So his threes right now, he has a 2.5 3-pointer line. He's only projected for 2, but check out these odds, okay? He's only projected for 2, but he's getting minus 162 to the over, 155 to the over, 189. These are incredible odds. So when I see a 160, 189 3-point prop, or odds on a 3-point prop, I don't think that he's going to hit 3. I think he's going to hit 4. If he's going to hit 3, then you're going to see his odds around 125, 130, 120, something like that. But to see 150 plus, that's not telling you he's going to make 3. That's like he's going to make 5. That's crazy. So anyway, if you feel like Kobe White has 4 3-pointers in him today, well, then that's basically 90% of that prop. De'Aaron Fox threes. So De'Aaron Fox is projected for 3 threes today on a 2.5 3-pointer prop. So these odds are a little different because you're getting minus 170 to the under on points bet, but then you got FanDuel giving you minus 184, plus 142, minus 166, minus 184, minus 160. So FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, and BetMGM all like the over. There is higher numbers, like higher plus to the under, but PointsBet's the only one giving you under odds. So if you see those odds and then you see his projections that do correlate, and you're thinking, okay, this is telling me that the minimum he's going to hit is 3, that the upside is 4 or 5, you're in the same position that you are with Kobe White. Because if De'Aaron Fox goes out there and gets you 4 threes, then Shohei Ohtani only needs to get you 1 base. A single. He needs to get a single. New Orleans is not giving up a very large 3-pointers made percentage on the year. In fact, they are the second best team at suppressing that, but they are allowing a good amount made. For Kobe White, his Miami matchup is a little different, where Miami is giving up a slightly higher 3-pointers made average, and they're right in the middle of the NBA pack with allowed. Both of these dudes are in a good position to get you 3+. I guess we should look at the other side and see what Acuna is projected for in terms of hits, as well as Ohtani. Again, both of those dudes, White and De'Aaron Fox, are capable of hitting that prop on their own. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that they have that range. And that's a plus. Okay, so Shohei Ohtani today is projected for 0.95 hits and 0.95 total base. So basically, that's one single. That's what he's projected for based off these numbers. Now, his odds are saying that he gets you multiple hits today. He doesn't need multiple hits to get multiple bases. He can hit a double, that's 2 bases. He can hit a home run, that's 4 bases. So he doesn't have to get you multiple at-bats or multiple hits to go over this line. If Kobe White gets you 4 threes, or excuse me, if De'Aaron Fox gets you 4 threes and Shohei Ohtani only gets you a single, you go over. If Shohei gets you 2 hits, 2 bases, Kobe White then only needs to get you 3. So you figure out what ratio you think is likely, but both of those dudes are in positions to crush their lines. And then let's take a look at Acuna. Total bases. Shohei's matchup with Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea is not that guy to... He's just not that guy. Although Ohtani's numbers versus Manaea aren't the best. He only has a single in 6 plate appearances. Shohei Ohtani's numbers against left-handed pitching to start the season off, he's just crushing right-handed pitching so well that in comparison, his 324 batting average is actually low. But that's just how good he is versus righties. So there's really not a whole lot to dislike about this. Again, he only needs to get you a single, which I think is in play. Ronald Acura Jr. Is projected. So his hits today, he's projected for 1.4 hit and 1.4 total base. So he's still projected for just 1. That's what you need. If you feel De'Aaron Fox and go out there and get you 4 threes. Now, over the past 10 games, he's basically averaging 2 bases. So if he gets you a double, even better. Both of those are good. I think both of those are good. Acuna, White, and then Shohei and Fox. I guess my least favorite of this group is the Aaron Judge and McCollum, because we just looked at McCollum's numbers, right? And we're trying to make a case for his points, you know? And then we're getting some comments in the chat about him not going over his points. So maybe that's the least favorite of this group. I mean, is it possible for McCollum to have a hot night from 3 but not go over points? I guess he'd have to miss every other fucking shot he takes. But I think the 2 favorable ones are Ohtani, Fox, Acuna, White. 2LA says Hero goes off tonight. Dude, Keon Ellis is ridiculous, man. He's fun to watch, man. You are. Knuckles is finding those hidden gems. I don't know. Those were, I mean, I guess they were kind of hidden, right, on a special tab, but I think sometimes we get so conditioned to PrizePicks trying to bait us into bullshit picks that we just ignore everything they put out there. But sometimes they do put stuff out there that is good value. What's going on, Jalen? Good morning. Says Cattell Marte, run demon, Kyle Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It's the second time I've seen Tucker mentioned this morning. Okay. Hudson over 3.5 strikeouts. Oh, opposition. You want to take a look at Ingram? Okay, so I'm going to screenshot. Let's lift Hero up there. We'll take a look at Hero's threes. But Ingram first quarter points. He did go over this last game, right? Well, let's take a look at that. Damian says, I think Hero's going over too. I'm just going to be watching though. I'm going to be rooting for him, but just not with my money. Man, Hero hit his second half prop last game, right? His 1.5 threes. Boy, it was looking nasty. And then at the last shot, he shoots the three from the corner. That was, you want to talk about like going down to the last second. I mean, that was literally the definition. There was 0.3 seconds left on the clock when he hit that shit. Yeah. And he had a terrible shooting night. I think he was only 3 for 10 or something like that. We'll have to take a look at his threes when we go back to props.cash. All right, let me screenshot these two here, and then we'll remove them from the board, and then we'll pull up these two NBA plays, or these two MLB plays in Marte. Well, 3 of them really. Is Marte's demon run line at 1.5, or I guess I gotta spell his entire name out. There's 2 fucking Martes? Come on, man. It's at 0.5. Man. And then Hudson over his strikeouts. They take him off the board? Yeah. They took Dakota Hudson off, or maybe they never had him on PrizePicks. I like this one. The Yoshinobu Yamamoto strikeout at 5.5. It was at 5.5 really early this morning, maybe around 6 a.m. It was at 5.5, and then they bumped it up. If you don't want to play his strikeouts at 6, which I think they're still in play, they took that one off the board too. Son of a bitch. His hits allowed at 4.5 was also in play. You may have to look at alternate sites. You still may be able to find his strikeouts at 5.5 on another site, but PrizePicks won't let you play it because they are greedy. All right. We got 4 plays on the board. Let's do it. I do want to take a look at the Hero prop, only because now people are saying that he's going to go off tonight. So I think it's worth a look to see what those threes look like. But let's take a look at Yordan Alvarez, who, in order for him to contribute to this over, he needs to get you a minimum of one total base. Now, he is projected for 1.45 total bases. So he's basically projected for a single, coming off a 5 total base game, also coming off a home run. So if he hits a home run, then that's pretty much a wrap. If he hits a home run and that prop doesn't go over, then you're telling me that Tyler Hero had an awful game, that he didn't get you 2 threes. So I think it's safe to say we can definitely pencil in Jordan for a hit, although he does go games without hits, you know. He's a bit more streaky than the other hitters we looked at. So I think one hit is safe to assume. Now his numbers against Mackenzie Gore aren't there because there is no sample size. So let's look at Jordan versus lefties. So we are getting a lefty-lefty matchup here. So in 2024, Jordan is almost like the reverse split here, right? Well, not almost. It is a reverse split because typically you see lefties mash righties. But in 2024, Jordan is mashing lefties. So lefty on lefty crime here. 3 homers, 2 doubles, and 32 plate appearances for Jordan. 8 singles. Last season, we saw pretty even. So I'm sure at some point as the season goes on, that lefty-righty split will start to like even out a little bit. Majority of his power last year, all of his power came from righties. 25 of his 31 homers. So yeah, this team as a whole mashes lefties. So it could be a long or it could be a short game for Mackenzie Gore if he gets caught up in this shit with that the first four. The first 4 in that lineup are brutal. If he survives the first 4, he might be okay. But there's a lot of production in that first 4, and Jordan is right in the middle of all that shit. All right. Let's look at Hero's threes, because if Hero has a good game, then you might want to add that promo to or that combo to your slip. And if you can find 2 other plays that you really like, then you can run all 3 of those combos in a slip and make it a 5 pick. All right, so Tyler Hero over his 3. So today, Tyler Hero is projected for 3.5 threes. Let's round that up to 4 because FanDuel likes it at -142, -156 on DraftKings, -148 on Caesars, -148 on BetMGM, and -160 on PointsBet. Listen, if you're high on Tyler Hero today, he had 4 threes against Philly. I thought he only had 3. If you're high on Tyler Hero today, then you could double down. You could say, hey, I'm going to play this combo prop with him and Jordan Alvarez, and then I'm going to play his 3-pointers made in a separate slip. And if you're feeling super froggy and you want to jump really high on that shit, then you can play his demon 3s if you want. If you're that high on him. Let's look at the last 30 games when Hero has a bad game. How does he respond? I have to zoom in there because at my old age, my eyes aren't what they used to be. So 2 is not a bad game to me, but maybe it's a bad game for Tyler Hero. So 2 here, he comes back and hits 4 back-to-back games. 1 3-pointer made, he comes back and makes 5. 1 3-pointer made, he comes back and makes 4. 2, 4, 2, 5. This is a slump, but he does bounce back. This is his biggest slump, though. Although, it's hard to say 3 is a slump, right? So maybe even looking at this as I mean, if you go from 1-3 to making 3 the next game, that's a bounce back to me. But what we're seeing here is that he does typically have a good game the next game. So that's good to know. Now, let's take a look at his 3s made without Jimmy Butler in. Does that make a difference? Yeah, but the sample size is smaller. So in the last 10 games played without Jimmy Butler, so when Hero has a bad game, he did bounce back here. He did bounce back here. You see what I'm saying? So a bounce back does look likely today. If Hero goes out and doesn't hit his 3-pointers made prop, but he gets you 3, so then Yordan Alvarez has to get you 3 total bases. So you do want him to get you 4 or more. But if Hero has a 5 3-pointer made game, Yordan needs to get you a hit. So you're looking real good on that one. You're getting very good odds on his threes, and you're getting good projections. Jimmy Butler not in the lineup also helps his usage. So that one looks strong. All right, we're going to go back to MLB. We should have just looked up Kyle Tucker because we were on the Astros game anyway. But let's look up Kyle Tucker over his hits, runs, and RBIs, sitting at 1.5 with his matchup versus Mackenzie Gore. I don't know if Kyle Tucker has a BVP versus Gore, but we're going to find out. So minus 130 to go over his hits, runs, and RBIs. That one's on DraftKings. BetMGM sees it identically. 140, not 140, excuse me. 2.1 hits, runs, and RBIs is what he's projected for. Coming off 2 games where he is over with 2 and 3. His numbers against Mackenzie Gore are good. 2 out of 3 plate appearances, he has 2 hits. No extra base hits, though. And that's cool. If he got you 2 singles today, you wouldn't be mad. On the year versus lefties, this is another lefty-lefty matchup. So we got 2 lefty-lefty matchups, Yordan and Tucker here. 3 homers, 5 singles, and 2 doubles against lefties in 35 plate appearances. Really good numbers versus lefties. Last season, that's what he does. Mackenzie Gore versus lefties last year, very, very inflated. Average here across the board. He gave up not as much power because the batter's face much larger when facing right-handed batters, but numbers are still there. Now this season, 11 lefties faced, he's given up 3 singles. No power just yet. It's early. Yeah. Kyle Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs looks strong. He bats after Yordan, so I'm trying to figure out a way you can correlate that Hero, Yordan, Alvarez, Kyle Tucker in the same. If Tucker bats after Yordan, then that does correlate really well, because if Yordan gets on base and Tucker gets on base and drives him in, he's already over his hits, runs, and RBIs, and Yordan has already got a base for you. So that's how that will correlate. Who else are we going to look at? Oh, Ketel Marte. So Ketel Marte, 0.5 runs scored is a demon line on PrizePicks. Now, his run line is not getting you good odds, and I didn't think that they would because it's a demon line. Demon lines aren't ever going to bring you positive odds, because if they did, it wouldn't be a demon. It'd be a goblin. And if it were on underdog, it'd be super nerfed. So the good news is that Ketel Marte has gone over this line in his last 3 out of 5 games, 6 out of 10 games. I do love the fact that he is projected for 1 hit, or he's projected for more than 1 hit, but he is projected to get on base. You cannot score a run if you don't get on base. I mean, you can't get hit by a pitch or walked, which he's done a good job of drawing walks over the last 10 games, but his odds for the hits are much higher. You can't score a run if you're not on base. So if he gets a hit, that's halfway there. Now he just needs his teammates to get him home. That's it. So it's really even not about him scoring a run. It's, can his teammates follow up and get him home? So paying attention to the batting order, paying attention to the other batters after him and their numbers against the opposing pitcher, or just their numbers against left-handed pitching. In fact, let's take a look at that. So if Ketel Marte leads off, he's followed up by Carroll, Gurriel, and Walker. So pretty strong batting averages, 1 through 4 versus lefties. Weighted on base, pretty good, pretty strong. Low K rates for these guys. So that's great because you can't get on base if you're striking out, right? We don't really even give a shit how Marte gets on base because he's if he gets on base via walk, he's still in line to score a run. So really we're focusing on the other batters after Marte. Can Carroll get him around? Can Gurriel get him around? Can Walker get him around? That's really what you're asking for, is one of these dudes to drive in Ketel Marte. If you believe that these dudes are capable of doing that, then I think the over on his demon run line makes a lot of sense. Also, check out the game total. Check out the run line. How many runs are the Diamondbacks projected to score tonight? There's a pretty good chance that Marte is involved in that. All right. I think that was it, right? We couldn't look up Dakota Hudson's threes. Dakota Hudson's strikeouts at 3.5 because it's not on the board on PrizePicks, unfortunately. But we do like these. If you ran these for, oh shit, Brandon Ingram, 4.5 first quarter points. Let's quickly take a look at that one. I want to say he went over this for his last game. Yeah. Okay, so Brandon Ingram, 4.5 points. Little low, right? Look, this is evidence that just because you have a good first quarter doesn't mean you have a good game, right? Brandon Ingram went on to score. Brandon Ingram scored 5 points in the first quarter and then proceeded to score just a total of 11 points the rest of the game. I'm not saying that's what happens tonight, but what I am saying is even if he does not go over full game points, it is possible for him to go over first quarter points. One doesn't always equal the other one. So all you need for him today is 5 first quarter points to go over. In that game against the Lakers, he played 8 minutes. He's in that 8 to 10 minute range. I think we get a good idea of what to expect from Brandon Ingram for the full game. If we see him play 10 minutes in that first quarter, he typically doesn't play more. But if he gives you 10 plus minutes in that first quarter, I think you can expect full minutes from him tonight. If we see him playing that 7 to 8 minute range, it's possible that he's limited in minutes. Maybe, like I said, follow that Pelicans beat writer and see what they're talking about in New Orleans and if there are any minute restrictions for him. But he doesn't need a lot of time in the first quarter to go over this. No Zion today. Even better. 10 games played without Zion. Going back to last season, he's gotten you over in 9 games. Let's just look at this season. In 5 games this season without Zion, he's gone over in 4 out of 5. All right. So we actually don't mind the Hero Alvarez line because Hero is projected to bounce back today. Although the line is higher between the two, Alvarez and Hero, I think you can make a case. I think we did make a case for all 3 of those special props, the MLB NBA combo props. We like the over on Kyle Tucker's hits, runs, and RBIs. And we did talk about how to correlate that with that Alvarez Hero. So Kyle Tucker typically bats cleanup. If he's batting cleanup tonight, You got Alvarez batting in front of him. Alvarez gets on base, and Kyle Tucker can bring him home. Kyle Tucker goes over his hits, runs, and RBIs in his first at bat. That also helps the combo prop if Alvarez gets on base. So nice correlation. And then Ketel Marte over Demon Run. He is projected to get a hit today, more than one hit, but we're really focusing on batters 2, 3, and 4 if they're able to get him home, because getting on base is just part of it. But based off what we saw, batters 1 through 4, low strikeout rate, high weighted on base, mashing lefties, at least they are so far. I think this is in a good spot to go over. It doesn't have to happen in the first at bat, but ideally you want it to get it out the way. The last thing you want to be doing is sweating a run prop going into the bottom of the 9th and shit. Like, those are the worst. All right. Whew. What's going on, Ruben? Good morning. Hero. Ooh. Jalen says Marte is going to homer today, but they don't want to put his demon up. They just snatched Dakota off every betting app. This is too good of a play. Hero over turnovers. Usage rate is going to be high, and Caruso is going to be on his helmet. Caruso is not 100%, though. Let's keep that in mind. I think he'll play, but he didn't play at all in that second half. I don't know how serious that injury is, though. I don't know. Andre Drummond weighs, what, 300 pounds? That's like a small car running over your foot. He's on the injury report. I think he plays. He's a tough dude. But yeah, he'll definitely make shit tough for Hero. AJ Puck under K's. What's going on, Gene? Jalen is taking unders on Nolan. Ellie, fantasy. Kyle Gibson pitching out. Jung-Hoo over fantasy. Herb Jones over fantasy. Joval fantasy over. That's his $2,000 six man. Are you putting $2,000 on it, or are you if it hits, you're winning $2,000? Either way, good luck. Either way, I hope you hit. I'll leave that up there for another second in case somebody wants to tail that or take a few plays from that. AJ Puck, we get a redo on that one because of the cancellation yesterday. We're liking the under on K's. Jesus says Dame over turnovers. Is Dame on the board? All right, we'll take Tucker off, Jordan off, Ingram off, Marte. All right. I think these will be the last two players we dig into today. Now, the Milwaukee game is not until Sunday, right? The last playoff series that Dame played in was the Wave game against OKC? Was that the last series he played in the playoffs? We'll be looking at turnovers over. Not first quarter. No Giannis, right? He's doubtful, up in the air. Whatever term you're using, it's not concrete. They're just leaving you on hold on that one. We'll get back to you. Man, that guy can't stay healthy in the playoffs. Lately. All right. Over his last 5 games in the regular season, he went over this in 3 out of 5 games. I guess we got to factor out Giannis. He's game time decisions. So games without Giannis played. Last 5 games without Giannis, his usage goes up. We already know that. So then we factor in the turnovers go up. 4 out of 5 games, he's gone over this. In his last 10 games played without Giannis, this is not going to be accurate. So you're really looking at the last 8 games played without Giannis because these were last season. So we're only focusing on this game. Toronto on over. So basically, out of these 8 games, he's 6 for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in every single game that he hit this, he got you 4 or more. So turnovers look like a thing for Dame, especially with Giannis out because the usage goes up. I expect his usage to go, I don't know how much more up it can go without Giannis in the playoffs, but I expect him to be the focal point on that offense. So if he's distributing, if he's driving, if he's shooting, the chances for turnovers just increase. These 3 books, they do like the under on this. However, the odds aren't really that decisive to me. There is still juice on the over. And in fact, PointsBet doesn't know what to do with it. So we got 2 books that favor the under with juice to the over. So again, it just feels like they're not really sure. We think he's going to go under, but we're not sure. That's kind of what I'm hearing. Projected for just 3 turnovers. Listen, this is more telling to me than the projections. I mean, Dame is turning the ball over anyway without Giannis. So without Giannis, to me, it just increases. It just increases. So, yeah, I think that one's in play. Now, that's not till Sunday. If you want to throw that in and slip now, you're going to have to wait till Sunday for that slip to cash out. But I think that's a good look ahead into Sunday. On tomorrow's live stream, we'll definitely look at more Sunday props. Oh, look at that. AJ Puck right there. Perfect. So we're looking at the under on his strikeouts. So projected for just 2.67, which is 3 strikeouts. The odds on the over are favorable on Caesars, DraftKings, PointsBet, BetMGM, and FanDuel. All like the over on this one. Projections are low. Odds are good. His first 1, 2, 3 starts of the year, he has not been that lights out. Low strikeouts, high to mid. Well, that's pretty low run total, but 4 runs. You can give up 2 earned runs in a game and still have a good game. So he's not getting blown up. He's not getting hit. His pitch, his outs, his innings are going up. His hits allowed are pretty low. Okay, so 5 hits allowed is not that high. 3 and 4 even lower. In those 3 starts, in his 3 starts, he is walking a shit ton of people. So, if you feel that these walks continue to, if you feel like you continue to put people on base, you can't strike batters out if you're walking them. So you got to do one or the other. I'm not saying these are 6 strikeouts he could have had, but out of the 6 batters he walked, would you say that maybe there are 2 strikeouts in those 6 at-bats? That maybe he can get 2 additional strikeouts, maybe 1 more, maybe 2 more. So when you look at his strikeouts here, that could be 3. That could have been 6. That could have been 4. You know what I'm saying? So, it could be better, but it's still not enough to go over 5, except for this one game. Chicago versus lefties, traditionally not bad. High strikeout rates. You got some strikeouts in there, okay? So, you got Wisdom. Morrell strikes out a ton. You have Swanson striking out. You got Cooper, Happ. If these guys are in the lineup, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential strikeouts in there from guys who whiff hard versus lefties. Don't know what the lineup's going to be. You should be able to look up the lineup now because we're closer to the first pitch. So you might get, instead of getting a projected lineup, you might get the actual starting lineup. So look who's in that lineup for the Cubs. You got some high strikeout rates in there versus lefties. So if you want to take the under on this one, because he is walking a ton of batters to start the year off, and he is not pitching a ton, right? So if he only gets you 14, 15 outs, that's 5 innings at the most. He has to strike out 1 per inning to go over 4.5. If you feel that it is a shorter game, like 13, 14 innings, now he has to strike out 2 batters in 1 inning at minimum. The fewer outs he has to work with, the lower his ceiling is. So if he's walking batters and he's getting pulled early, the chances of him going over strikeouts, not that great. But if this guy's innings continue to increase, I mean, if he gets 1 extra inning and gets you 5 innings today, and he's going against a strikeout heavy Cubs lineup versus lefties, 4.5 might be too low, especially when you're getting support from all the books on the over. So I guess you just got to figure out what you think is going to happen with his walks and with his innings. What was he projected for yesterday? Should be the same lineup he was projected to face yesterday. I wonder if it's the same odds that we saw yesterday, that were out yesterday. All right, so definitely like the over on Dame's turnovers. Puck, I'm not sure what to do with here. But if you want to go under on Puck, if you feel like he gets pulled early, or if that continues to pitch less than 5 innings, it's just going to be tougher for him to go over that strikeout prop. All right. Yeah. I didn't think it was that serious, to be honest with you. I thought for sure he'd shake that off, but when they showed the replay, they always make it sound worse than it really is. But when they showed the replay, it just didn't look that serious. But I've never been stepped on by anybody who weighs 300 pounds. That's 7 feet tall. So probably doesn't feel good. I guess maybe go to your gym, go to your fitness center and drop a 20-pound dumbbell on your foot and see how that feels. And that's probably what it feels like, probably worse. And then go try to play. Don't even go try to play basketball. Just try to walk up some stairs after that shit. I'm pretty sure that would be enough to keep most people out. We'll see how he is today, though. I don't think he's going to be 100%. That dude's a gamer. I mean, you shoot guys up enough before game with all the medicine out there, all the wonderful drugs floating around in the NBA. I'm sure Caruso won't even feel his damn foot until after the game. So we might see Caruso on top of his game today. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's stream. Got off to a super rocky start with audio issues, user error on my part, but audio issues and whatnot. But we bounced back. We had 30 viewers on this stream pretty much throughout the stream. I appreciate y'all being here. We got tons of questions answered, tons of player props research in the live stream. Like I mentioned earlier, About 40% of those will be shared in the freemium, and 100% of those props will be shared in the premium. But you will have enough resources and information to help you with your slips today. Way more games to pick from today. Way more value on the board than what we saw yesterday. So you should have no problem building out some slips, whether it be on PrizePicks or Underdog or wherever you're playing. I still need to do my player write-up for today. So if you are in the Discord, be sure to check that out. If you're not in the Discord, join. It's still 100% free to join. There's just a new paywall up if you want more info. We went over injury news. We went over turds of the day. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with another player prop talk live stream. I will be sharing a few slips over in the Discord. So if you want to check those out, definitely check those out. But if you lasted this long, consider subbing up to the channel. It means a ton. Drop a comment. You guys are great in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out. And as I always say, I hope all of your player props respect the damn coin. Once again, we'll be back tomorrow with another live stream at 9 a.m. And until that live stream, Chavez is out.